So we all have expectations. It's part of the human condition, right? So of course, when you go on jet, you're going to have expectations of what it's going to be like. And I applied to be a CIR. I thought, okay, I'm going to go to a city. So I'll apply for one of the smaller cities, like Fukuoka or Kobe, something like that. So of course, when I get my acceptance letter, I'm super excited. I open it up. Kochi. Where the hell is Kochi? I have no idea where Kochi is, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll be in a city. It'll be fine. We'll figure this out. You are in Umajimura. Shi means city. Cho means town. What the hell does Mura mean? So Mura means village. I'm going to Horsepath Village. Okay. So I had lived in Japan before. I had just finished a bachelor's degree in Japanese, and I had all these expectations that were about to be completely demolished by my actual experience on jet. Let's fast forward. So we're getting off the plane in Kochi Airport. It's me and the other new jets, and we enter into the arrivals lobby. There are all these super Genki supervisors holding up signs with people's names on them, and they start going off, and they're pairing up, and I'm looking around, and there's no sign with my name on it, and I'm like, oh my God, they've forgotten me. And this woman comes out of the crowd, and she hesitantly comes on over, and she says, Zaku-san desu ka? Okay, thank God. They've remembered me. They've come to get me. This was Riho. Riho-san was my country mother. That's what she called herself while I was on jet. So Riho and I exit the airport, and it is so hot and so disgusting, and I am sweating through my clothes, and I'm dying, and we get into her car. She turns on the AC. Bliss. Absolute bliss. She goes to turn on the engine, and nothing happens. She laughs nervously, turns on the engine. Nothing happens. And I'm starting to think, oh God, this is one of these K cars. The engine and the battery are too small. She can't drive and have AC at the same time. And sure enough, she turns off the AC and starts up the car, and we are off down the coastal road. Now, she does get the AC started at that point. Once the car is going, we're fine. So we're driving down the coastal road with the ocean off to the right, and it's amazing, and we're having some spotty conversation. I spoke Japanese. She spoke Toseben. She did not speak standard Japanese by any means. And so I was having a tough time understanding her, and I was also getting a little more concerned about just how far away we were going from civilization. So we get to a small town, and I think, okay, well, this looks cute, and then we keep on going through it. And then we get to another small town, and I'm like, okay, this is probably where we're going to be, and then we keep on going through it. And then eventually we get to a city, and when we say city, it's like 40,000 people, and I'm like, okay, I can make this. Oh God, there it goes. And we're just going down the road. So an hour and a half later, we turn off the main coastal highway, and we head up into the mountains. So the towns fade away. It's rice fields. And the rice fields fade away, and it's a one-lane road. And we're going up, twisting up into the mountains. And there's this cliff up to the left, and it drops off to the right to a river. And we're going around the corners, and I'm not talking anymore. I'm just staring out the window going, oh God, what have I done? After 30 minutes of blind turns and stopping and pulling over so oncoming traffic can get by, we finally arrive in the village. She takes me to the main hall. We meet some people, and I don't remember because I'm totally freaking out at this point. And I get back to my house. She's like, okay, take a rest. We'll have a big party for you later tonight. I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm alone. And I am totally freaked out at this point. I'm like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. This was not Sapporo. This was not what a CIR. I mean, what is going on here? I sit down on my tatami floor and I start to freak out a little bit. I'm writing in my journal. I'm writing some really negative things, interspersed with a lot of guilt because, here's this amazing opportunity and I'm not appreciating it. Hello! I have a visitor. My neighbor has come over, and he's brought me a gift. And he brings me this tall boy of Kirin and a big chunk of smoked Gouda. And as abruptly as he arrives, he leaves. He's like, I'll see you tonight. I'm at your party. It's okay. And then he just goes. And I open up that beer. And it's so cold and so good. and the cheese is delicious. And my journal entry, it gets a little bit more positive. I go to the party that evening, and it's a small gathering. It's just a few people from my office, my neighbor and his wife, and we're having a nice conversation. I'm not drinking too much. And we're eating this amazing inaka sushi. So it's like pressed sushi with mountain ginger and mushrooms and takenoko and things I'd never had before. We have this little fried fish that stare at you with their big black eyes as you try to crunch them down. And I would learn to love them over time, but that was a little much for me that day. But we're having a nice time, and we're sharing drinks, and we're kampai, and somebody makes an offhand comment about when I visit my neighbors, I should always knock, because sometimes they like to use ropes and candles in their private time. So I take my sake, I drink it down, and I just let go of all of my expectations.